Hi, and welcome to Off the Beaten Tracks. Today on our show, a careless trumpet player blows off his own leg.
Hello and welcome to Off the Beaten Tracks. Today is another episode of Master LP's Theater. So won't you join myself and Grace Bevan as we sit around the fireplace and discuss David Rhodes and his 1965 release, The Velvet Beat. Is it velvety? Is it beaty? Is it alcoholic?
What I love about this, that this is the coming together of that new young schoolgirl generation with grandmas and grandpas who can both love this album.
Because I'm sure they loved Lawrence Welk when it came out too.
It's just so... syrupy isn't even the right word. It's just so homogeneous.
Yeah, I have to admit, I liked Satisfaction. It kicked off well with Satisfaction. It felt very James Bond to me.
But I didn't hear the blues in there.
Oh, God, no. No blues whatsoever.
To say they stress the blues is kind of, I think... a little optimistic.
Yeah. Honestly, what I found was, as I listened to this, I felt like I was watching an educational movie from the 1950s about how girls shouldn't show their ankles until after marriage. And I was really disappointed with What's New Pussycat especially. Because what makes that particular song, I think, so characteristic and great is the way that Tom Jones kind of just punches you in the face with What's New Pussycat, as if he has just been awoken from a slumber 300 years long, and he's just like, "What's New Pussycat?" Like, you don't get it at all in this. You just get a lot of domestic glory, is the only way to describe it.
And I think that's what separated, the rock and roll and the 60s music from the 50s music, is that punch. And is that liveliness that you started to see in the late 50s and moving into the 60s. This takes it right back into the 40s, there's just not anything at all that stands out in this album. And they don't even do all 1965 songs on this.
No.
It goes back in the 50s. One of these is Andy Williams. By the 60s, he was doing those Christmas specials with Claudine Langeais.
What I really want to know is, granted, I am a wretched youth, and not all of these songs were immediately familiar to me. In fact, I could basically pick out Satisfaction and What's New Pussycat, and I know some of these other songs by name, but I couldn't even recognize the tune in most of them. Were you finding they were easy?
No, there are tunes where if you're not listening really, really closely, it's just background music, and you don't pick out. You couldn't say, "Oh, that's I've Lost That Loving Feeling," or "Oh, that's
Tambourine Man."
Tambourine Man. No, there are several songs on there which are remarkably anonymous.
Right? I feel like it'd make very good background music for Leave It to Beaver, but I just don't know where else you'd listen to this.
Yes, it's a Sunday morning album for people who have really, really had a hard Saturday night.
I don't know, something tells me that might want them to just go back to sleep even still.
So on a scale, let's go with the cover first.
Okay.
Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, 0 being Rob Schneider, what would you give that?
The cover itself alone, not even thinking about the music, I'd give it a solid 7. I think the cat is cute, I really like the cut and paste style, but in relation to what the songs on this album are supposed to be, I'd only put it around a 4 or 5. I'd also like to point out, there's nothing velvet about this or all that beaty about it either. So it feels very disjointed.
It's a tiny bit more velvety than it is beaty. There's very little beat in there, but velvety in those days kind of meant exactly what this is. It's room temperature butter is really what it is. And I would probably give that cover, I think I wrote down a 7. Just, again, it's kind of a cute cat, and it's, there's some interest, it's not the best cover in the world, because this is a time where they put out some great covers. So let's go with the album itself, scale of 1 to 10, where would you put this?
I would give the overall album one notch above Rob Schneider. I would give Satisfaction, not taking into account that it was supposed to be bluesy, just, thinking, oh, this would make a great James Bond or like a new updated spy movie. I could see it easily being in that. That one I'd give about an 8, that one song. The rest, though, we're in Rob Schneider territory.
I was a little more generous, and I gave it about a 5, 5.5, maybe because I'm older and I've listened to some really, really horrible albums. To me, it's just mediocre, and mediocre is kind of a 5, and this is that's where it is. It's not unbelievably horrible, and of course it's not unbelievably good either.
Well, we'll see how harsh I come to be over the following records, that's for sure.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll be a little bit more loosey-goosey.
So there you have it. This is David Rose, The Velvet Beat, and he did write The Stripper and perform it, and that song at least has a little oomph to it. We'll be back next week with another episode of Master LP's Theater with
Me, Grace.
her, Grace.
Right? Okay. Okay.